Good morning or good afternoon, everybody. Next week, we will have a general congregational meeting and a vote to seek approval from the congregation to finalize our selection for the 5th senior pastor of our church. Let me give you a brief introduction for him first before I lay out the details of the voting procedure. The pastor grew up in Korea but studied in America to get master's and doctoral degrees in theological studies. Among his 23 years of pastoral experiences in Korean American churches, he served his last 13 years as a senior pastor in one of the Korean churches in PC, USA. Currently, he is teaching theological students in a graduate school as a professor. During his interview with the pastor nomination committee, he came across to everybody as someone whose positive attitude toward life adversaries is highly contagious. I am sure that you will also be positively influenced by him once he comes here and shares his daily life with you. He has a wife and 2 adult sons. While we did not interview his wife for his job, the pastoral nomination committee felt strongly that it is important to share one aspect of his family with you. During his long services of pastoral services in Korean American churches, his wife witnessed many heartbreaking hardships in the families of the church. Despite tremendous mental and emotional difficulties, many didn't even seek professional help from qualified counselors due to cultural and language gaps. Eager to help these families, his wife started studying counseling and got her master's degree in this field, and also acquired certificates as a counselor for multicultural counseling, family counseling, and counseling for seniors. As a member of the pastoral nomination committee and also as a clerk of the session of this church, I am very pleased and honored to have a chance to serve you with this candidate pastor and his family. Now, about the general congregational meeting and the voting process. In an attempt to remove any barrier in voting during this constrained environment due to the pandemic, the session has decided to open multiple voting methods. There are 3 main different methods of voting. First one is the conventional method of anonymous voting through in-person attendance at the end of the worship service. Second is to vote at home and bring the ballot form to church. For this purpose, I will send out the ballot form and detailed instruction to every registered adult member by email on this Friday evening. If you vote at home and have the ballot form delivered to the church by your spouse, that is also considered a legitimate vote. Third voting method is remote voting, using email, text, katok, or telephone voice message. I will provide a detailed instruction for this method along with the ballot form by email on this Friday. This method is probably the most convenient method for most of you. However, I have to also make it clear that your identity needs to be indicated when you vote by this method in order to prevent multiple voting and also to ensure church membership of the voter. This method is provided as an option if you choose to utilize it. You can vote by any one of these 3 methods, but please make sure to vote only once. Otherwise, all your votes will be nullified. Equally important is that you need to vote before 3 o'clock in the afternoon of next Sunday for your vote to be counted. The general congregational meeting and the voting procedure will have already started by the time your EM service starts next Sunday. You can go on with your daily life once you have casted your vote. But the members of the session will stay in the church until 3 o'clock in the afternoon when the general congregation meeting closes. In other congregational meetings in the usual times, we count the number of attendees at the beginning of the meeting and declare if the quorum has been satisfied. In next week's meeting, because we accept both in-person vote and remote vote, attendance will be counted at the end of the voting process by the number of votes casted. If this number does not exceed 1/4 of the total number of active adult members, the general congregational meeting loses its legitimacy, and we won't be able to come to a conclusion as to our next senior pastor. For this reason, I ask each one of you to participate in the voting process as outlined earlier. I understand there's one important question lingering in your mind. Who can vote? The legitimate voters are adult active members, and that means your age has to be 18 or older, and your name has to be listed in our cell group or small group member list, or in Korean, 목장 편성표. Your name has to appear in the last published 목장 편성표 or small group member list. If you believe that you are an active member and your name is not on there, then please contact the church leadership to make a correction before this Friday. During the time of pandemic, I have sent multiple emails to every registered member of the church. If you have not received an email from me, it means that your email is not registered in our church membership roster, and you will also not receive the ballot form by email. If this is the case, please contact any of the church leadership to register your email before this Friday. Thank you.